Hey guys, I'm back. So for this week's blog post, we had to talk about obviousness and do some external research on obviousness, and come up with some findings and analysis of our findings. Um, and so the definition we learned in class is what I want to start off with. And the one we learned in class is that a patent is obvious if it is defined to be that way by a posita, which is a posita being a person having ordinary skill in the art. So basically, if you just take your average person in the field in question, and if they were to say, oh, this particular patent is obvious, this addition to the patent is obvious, then that is enough to consider it obvious. Um, so I've done a little bit of external research, and I found a website actually that came up with six criteria or six examples in which something could be considered obvious. And I'm just going to kind of list them off right now. The first is if the invention is created through a substitution of one known element for another to obtain predictable results, the invention is obvious. Number two, if the invention is achieved by using a known technique to improve a similar device in the same way, the invention is obvious. Number three is if the invention is created by applying a known improvement technique in a way that would yield predictable results, the invention is obvious. Or if the invention is achieved from choosing a finite number of identifiable, predictable solutions that have a reasonable expectation to succeed, the invention is obvious. 5. If known work in one field of endeavor prompts variations based on design incentives or market forces, and the variations are predictable to one of skill in the art, the invention is obvious. Which is kind of like the definition that we came up with in class. And finally, if the invention of a product of combining prior art elements according to known methods to yield predictable results, the invention is obvious. And I included the link on my blog post so you can actually read the entire article. It's pretty lengthy, but that's kind of where I got those six criteria. And as an example, I think we should just discuss the one that we talked about in class. So we talked about a bottle cap, and if on, let's say, like I'm going to file a patent for a bottle cap with a red cap, we talked about how that would be obvious, and the reason is because, well, you need to look at the difference that the difference makes. And I learned this in a video that I'm going to post in my next blog. But the difference that the difference makes, meaning that is the difference being the red cap going to make a technical difference, or is it going to have a function? And if it does, is it going to solve a problem? And if you look at the actual idea of making a bottle cap red, you'll notice that it doesn't provide any functional benefits, and it doesn't really solve a new problem, and therefore the patent would be obvious and it would likely get rejected. And for the sake of time, I think I'm going to end it there. You can look and read through my blog post if you have any more questions, but thanks for your time, and I look forward to seeing you guys again next week. Feel free to leave any comments on my blog if you have any.